In this week's Infinite Escape Room pubisode, the chaps discuss the show Our Flag Means Death and the weird and wonderful history it's based on, chat about the war between British and American sitcoms, and Danny tells us how great we are. So here we are sitting in the Shivered Timber where the wood is so cold and brittle you have to rebuild whenever there's a light breeze, taking a quick break after our escape from Blackbeard's party boat to have a drink, a debrief of the room that we just did, and have a little chat about what's on our minds today. But first, it's my round, so who's drinking what?
Okay, I'm really cool, and I'm actually drinking delicious hydrating water. I had some Guinness Zeros, and I completely forgot to put them in the fridge. So,
nothing worse than a warm Guinness.
I know, so more for me. So I'm a cheap date tonight, and water for me, please.
Are you doing dry February or something, Danny?
No, I'm not. It's just that was what I had in the house, and because it tastes like Guinness, it's delicious, so I'm just drinking them. Because I drank all the normal Guinness in December, sadly.
I have yet to try a non-alcoholic beer that I've really enjoyed, but it's been a while, so I should have another go.
Yeah, the non-alcoholic Guinness is the one to
yeah, it's pretty much on par with normal Guinness. It's delicious. So.
The last time I had Guinness, I'm pretty sure I had it mixed with half a pint of Strongbow, and that was the thing called a Black Velvet.
Oh, I had that, and it was with champagne. And it was very upmarket and fancy.
Okay, this must have been a Valley's Black Velvet then, because it was just half Guinness, half Strongbow, and a bit of blackcurrant.
Jesus,
I don't remember much from that night. I was very ill.
Sounds amazing.
Projectile vomiting in a chalet in Butlins is not my idea of a fun night, but that's what happens, kids. Stay away.
Yum, yum. So anyway, water. That's the answer to that problem.
What about you, Mike?
I'm drinking a big boy drink. I'm drinking Asahi, which I have waxed lyrical about on the podcast before. Actually, you can go back and listen to Michael Arsley's Chaps episode on it, where I just say how much I love it.
You love an Asahi.
I do. It's such a perfect lager. It's so crisp and clean and refreshing, and you get that lovely sort of deliciously lagery taste, and then it's gone. It's really delicious, and I absolutely love it.
And I'm Jamie, and as you might have guessed, I am currently drinking yet another mead. It is the Moniac mead from Lindisfarne Meadery, and it's not as nice as the cherry one, but it's still very flavoursome.
Well, I need to check my booze cupboard.
Annie's off.
Yes, so word on the street is that Danny purchased some mead from Lindisfarne for Mike. How long ago?
Oh, many moons ago now. It must have been 4 years ago.
So when Mike returns, if he finds it, it's going to be like when Indiana Jones finds the Holy Grail, just full of dust, almost disintegrating in his hands. But luckily, as many of you out there will know, mead never goes off, so you're fine.
Oh, I love it so much.
That's why it's God's drink.
I know that when you, I don't know if you've actually been to the Lindisfarne place where they make it, but they've got this just magnificent bit where you go around all the ruins and stuff, but then they take you into the shop, and it's just honestly bottles and bottles of so many variations. You're like, where do I start?
I want it so bad.
And they do a delicious kind of like their answer to Bailey's as well.
Okay. I'm not normally one for cream liqueurs, but if it's in a meadery.
No, but they do a cream liqueur there that's just absolutely spot on.
I love it.
Is this Lindisfarne?
Yeah. It's worth a visit. Northumberland and Bamborough specifically, because if you stay in Bamborough, then it's like a short hop to Lindisfarne. Excellent destinations.
It's good to see another mead aficionado, Danny. We should hang out. We should hang out.
Okay, done.
No dice, Mike?
Did you find it, Mike?
No, when was this, Danny? I need to.
It was 4 years ago now, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought this was recently.
No.
I distinctly remember drinking several bottles of delicious mead across the last few years. So
yeah.
Thank you, Danny.
I once had. I've only been married once. For my wedding, we had toasting during one of my many marriages, because that's how I roll. Renaissance man.
That's not what Jamie said when we were not recording. By the way. This is news.
With my eighth wife,
darlings. I suppose that's more of a Tudor man than a Renaissance man, but never mind. For my wedding, we had toasting mead as part of the ceremony, thinking, it was in like a 16th century manor house, where we got dressed up as close as we could to authentic garb and stuff like that. And I thought, toasting mead, great. This will be, nobody drank it. Not one person drank it, other than me. So it meant that during the reception, I was just there going,
oh, mate.
I paid for it. I'm fucking drinking it.
Yeah, fair play to you. I'd have done the
Who
same.
wouldn't
That's
drink
outrageous.
toasting meat?
Well,
What animals?
I mean, a few people might have had a sip, out of politeness, and then gone, The fuck? It's an acquired taste, I grant you that.
This champagne's gone off and gone thick.
Why do I have to chew this wine? Spoiler warning for the previous puzzle episodes. If you've not listened to it yet, please pause this immediately. What do you think you're doing? Listen to that and then come back. We'll be waiting for you. For the rest of you, let's crack on. So last episode, which is entitled Our Flag Means Escape, Danny and Mike escaped from Stede Bonnet and Blackbeard's pirate ship through some clever mathy logiciness on a wage document. Very, very deftly and quickly solved the punny conundrums in the bookcase, and then donned themselves in foppish and piratical gear in order to evade execution. So well done, chaps. You did it in very good time as well.
Oh, cheers, Tom.
I feel we could have done it even quicker if I hadn't started blathering about God knows what halfway through the books and forgotten what Jamie had told me.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Makes for good audio.
Yeah, you started talking about how the islands are the tits of the sea, and then you just kind of went into a haze and state, and you were just off.
Just the word tits.
I think that's the thing. It's like a neurobiology thing. It's like my mouth says tits, my brain goes, there's
wet.
Tits. And then all the other bits are like, okay, shut down. We need to like prioritize blood flow to like the tit detector.
Why did you point to the apex of your forehead?
That's where that bit of the brain goes.
Okay, I thought you just meant that you've had like a chip installed.
No, like it's the left brain right thing, isn't it? It's like the left brain is very artistic, and the right brain's good at maths but obsessed with boobs.
Okay, I get you. I thought you just meant like you had you installed like NFC for nipples or something on your forehead. just making sure that they're there.
No, it was good. It was a good puzzle. I liked it. Did we do it in kind of in the order you were expecting?
Yes, well, you did it. I think you got the connections a lot faster than I expected. I think you chose to look at things in the right order. There was a moment where I thought that you'd accidentally discounted the big window because you wanted to look at the smaller window in the toilet, and I was like, oh, there's nothing there. I thought that you'd misinterpreted it because you didn't come back to it until almost at the end. So that got me a little bit worried, but as soon as that was there, you interpreted everything really quickly, and yeah, I think the titties of the sea thing hung you up for all of like 10 seconds. And Mike was like, aha, I understand where this reprobate's brain is going.
I don't know much, but I think we definitely lucked out in the order that we asked to look at things because it kind of gave us everything we needed, which was good. But I think I spent the first couple of minutes sort of ear blind, deaf. That's the word, because I was just such a good impression.
Ear blind.
That's such a good impression. Sorry, but that was such a good impression of the guy from. So what was the guy with the speech impediment?
Blackbeard.
Black Pete. Oh, of course. Yeah, tell me Black Pete. I can't even do the voice. It was so good. It was such a good impression.
Yeah,
and you did do a very good. What's the actor that plays Bonnet?
Rhys Darby.
You're really struggling with names tonight, Mike.
I know. It's probably because this is like Asahi number 4. I've had for a little while.
It's all that heavy metal poisoning from all that salmon.
That could be what it is.
Oh my God.
I feel foggy.
Yeah. Classic Mike.
Going for my wintering bear face.
Eat a fuck ton of salmon.
I'm sleepy now.
Yeah.
No wakey Mikey for 6 months, thank you.
Amazing. Oh, that was pretty good, actually. That was pretty good bear noise. Yeah. Someone's been practicing.
I have been playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it. It took so long for the opening cutscene that I was like, I haven't got the patience for this anymore. I'm an old man.
Love that. Oh, I love it.
I did it on the Steam Deck in bed. That's the key.
Oh, nice.
It's such a slow-paced game that you need to do it on the bog and in bed, just kind of winding down. And you play it. You're a cowboy for a little bit, and a man tells you a folksome tale.
Yeah.
Like, I've had to press like 3 buttons in the last 20 minutes. Good night.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think as I'm getting older, I'm getting more impatient with video games. Like I opened that, I got about 10 minutes in, and I was like, I haven't pressed anything other than keep going forward on the joystick. I need to do something with my day. So I started playing Dead Cells, which is great because it's like 10 minutes tops, and it's designed to die and repeat and keep going.
It's a good roguelike, isn't it?
It's amazing. And like the artwork's great, the gameplay's fun, and I can play it for 10 minutes knowing that I'm going to die and then switch it off and go to bed. And that suits my very impatient brain right now.
Yeah, you're like, that'll do me.
We should return to good roguelikes because I bloody love a roguelike. But is there anything? So The Room, based around Our Flag Means Death. Anything you want to tell us about the room, the puzzles, the whole the actual bit of history that this genuinely links to?
It was researching for this puzzle I thoroughly enjoyed. So if your listeners haven't guessed by now, this room is heavily influenced / stolen from / paid homage
legally different.
Yes,
what could be behind this bookcase?
From the show Our Flag Means Death. It's on HBO Max in the States. It's on BBC iPlayer over in the UK. And just, if you haven't watched it, just go watch it. It's amazing. Rhys Darby and Taika Waititi as pirates, Stede Bonnet and Blackbeard, going for high seas hijinks. And it's incredibly funny. Surprisingly romantic and with a lot of heart in places. And it's got a great cast as well. It's a shame that it's just the one season for now, and it's a short season, but they've confirmed that season 2 has just wrapped filming. So nice. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. So yeah, as soon as we were done watching that series, and you're right, I'm doing a pirate episode for this next one. It's great. And when I did the research for it, I didn't realize that they based so much of the show on actual stuff that happened, and there wasn't a great deal that they took creative liberties on.
No, it's so fucked up that it's so weirdly close to what actually happened in history. I mean, they gloss over some of the really bleak shit, like where he gets all his money from, but Jesus, what absurd sitcom world were they living in?
I mean, you can kind of connect the dots to the shady beginnings, though, given that he's a white guy born in Barbados who's rich. You're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Won the Barbados lottery.
That's not comedic television necessarily, but he was born as an aristocrat who decides, you know what, I'm bored of this, and then fucks off to become a pirate, even though he has no idea how to pirate. So the puzzle about the wages that he pays his crew members was an actual thing. He's one of the few pirates to actually give his crew a wage. Normally they just get a share of the plunder from raping and pillaging, but he knew, because he was such a shit captain, they would mutiny. So in order to stop them doing that, he did what any good boss would do and pay them a living wage. Take note, everybody. Eventually he got in a couple of scrapes. I think, in reality, he was a little bit better as a pirate than the show plays him out to be. I think he actually won a couple of battles. And then at some point, he gets fucked up really badly on a particular island. And then Blackbeard takes notice and goes, who the fuck is this guy? Because, he's a pirate, but he doesn't try to be a pirate. He's still very much, he's the gentleman pirate. That's what he calls himself. So he's all dressed up as a fop, and he's still very hoity-toity. So Blackbeard's like, who the fuck is this? What's he doing? And then in history, in IRL, he becomes co-captain while Stede's recovering from some gunshot wounds, and then slowly takes over the ship and completely betrays Stede, makes him try and get a royal pardon, and then fucks off with his ship. And Stede swears revenge, and they spend the rest of their lives dancing around each other and never ever catching one another. The show is slightly different in that they don't drift apart but come together.
And kiss.
They do.
And kiss.
Spoiler alert.
And it's done very tastefully as well.
Oh, marvellous. I haven't watched it. I'll give it a watch.
It's so good.
Oh my God, dude, it's such a good show. Yeah. Give the first episode a good 15 minutes, because it weirdly takes up a little while to get momentum.
Yeah.
It builds. Oh, it builds.
Yeah. So the secret wardrobe in the back was taken from the show. I don't know if that actually happened in real life. But the bookcase, that was a thing that happened in both the show and in history. He actually had a full library, which again was weird.
I think the bookcase with the secret thing is actually true. So I think when he designed the ship, I'm not sure if he designed the ship or he bought a ship that was basically already there, but he had it refitted, and some of the refitting was having secret passages and things built into it, because he's clearly a romantic in his head. So he was like, of course a pirate ship needs fucking secret passages and a diddly what's it and a bog and ensuite.
The old diddly what's it.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the secret compartment, secret room is actually
nice.
Or was it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had an ensuite though. That I put in for the puzzle. That, I mean, I don't know, maybe.
He definitely had an ensuite. If you're the gentleman pirate,
That's
you're
true.
not just shitting over the rail with everybody else, are you?
I mean, it's
good morning.
It's bonding, isn't it? It's communal bathing. That's what they did.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's good enough for the Romans. Yeah.
And look at them.
Yeah.
They had an empire that lasted ages.
Yeah. Again, I can't see, Caesar sitting there with his legionnaires just shitting over the battlements in the morning. All right, lads, how you doing? Oh, bloody, Christ alive, 16 sesterces. You think you could get a fucking better quail's egg for that?
Is that right?
Christ.
Pass us the old sponge on stick.
Oh, dear.
you want this after I'm done? You're all right, so you're all right.
Hast thou done, Flens and Felchies?
Oh, Lord.
So after watching the series, I ended up listening to a couple of other podcasts that I'll link to in the show notes for this to get more research. And it's just fascinating how much of that show is basically a documentary about this guy's life. It's incredible, but it's really funny as well. It's got a good cast of guest characters as well. Definitely give it a watch if you've not seen it.
Nice. Sounds good. I will. Thanks for the recommend.
I do love it.
10 out of 10 would watch again. Also, It's nice to have some comedy coming out that's good, because I feel like we've had a bit of a drought of good sitcoms.
I do prefer the British way of doing sitcoms nowadays, but it's like 6 to 8 episodes per season and like 3-4 seasons max.
Yeah, it's allowed to finish.
You give it an arc, and that's it. Like, just great. We watched, like, the one that's on rotation a lot whenever it's on is Ghosts, the BBC version of Ghosts. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that.
We love it. And it's like short 6-episode seasons. It's on like season 5 now. And we started watching the US version just to see what it's like. And we got half an hour into episode 1. I mean,
yeah.
It's designed for an American audience, which is fine. But it's not a cup of tea. But there's like 20-odd episodes in season 1. It's insane.
It doesn't always translate well. The only thing I found that translated well was The Office. I really like the US Office.
Yeah.
And just Steve Carell and obviously everyone else. But that's the only one I found where I'm like, oh, the US one's actually all right. I quite enjoy it. But other stuff, like that one where they tried the IT crowd, that was bloody awful as well.
Yeah.
What, they tried the IT
in
crowd?
the US.
I haven't seen the American adaptation.
And it was Richard Iwadi and some other American guy and an American woman, wasn't it?
What tends to happen, especially in those pilots, is that they just take the script from the British version and put American actors in there.
Oh, no. So it's like, well, hey there, pal. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah,
exactly.
It was exactly. Yeah. It was terrible.
But then I really enjoyed the American Office, and I can't stand the British one because I just loathe Ricky Gervais with a passion.
Oh, Jamie, I knew we were.
Mike detests him loudly.
Just that brand of cringe comedy, just unsettles me, and I just hate it.
Yeah.
I'm so with you on that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the US version of Taskmaster?
No. I know they do an Oz version.
So I've seen an episode of the US version. I think I must have seen it on YouTube or something, and it is bad. So bad. And I think it's because the Americans really struggle with this concept in comedy of crapness. Like, for them, everything's always got to be kind of good and glitzy and big and loud and like, oh my God, this is the opportunity of my lifetime. Like, wow, I've been dreaming this my whole life. Whereas British people, particularly British comedians, are really down with everything being quite shit.
Yeah.
So, a British comedian gets presented with a challenge, which is like, stick as many crayons up your nose as you can. And they're like, okay, I've got 3. Whereas an American would treat that like as a sport and then pierce their brain. And they just, they can't seem to get the essence of the joy of crapness. And I think it was the same problem with the US version, the pilot they tried of Red Dwarf. They tried to do it. The charm of Red Dwarf is it's all spit and sawdust, and the people are crap. Rimmer and Lister and the cat are all venal and crap and stupid, and the sets are literally made out of washing machine parts, spray painted, and everything's crap, and it's wonderful, it's joyous, and it celebrates that. And they tried to do it in the States, and they're like, we're going to do CG and explosions and a handsome hero who's relatable. So, no, don't do that. You've ruined it.
Yeah,
it's Mike's theory of crapness in comedy.
It's
patent pending.
It's why probably for a similar reason why a show like Always Sunny in Philadelphia has lasted so long and is so good. I fucking love that show because every single person on that show is a reprehensible human being.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
And go, well, at least I'm not as bad as those guys. I feel good about myself now.
Yeah, it is a good recipe, and I think you're right. I think Americans struggle with that, and then they try and parody our stuff, and it just doesn't translate normally.
Yeah. I mean, as on the flip side, has there been any US ones that have translated well into Britain? Have we done that often?
Oh, don't know.
I don't know, because I feel like when it gets a US show, it doesn't need localization in the UK.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah,
because that would be like, we're coming from a big money situation, so we thought we'd make a small shit version in the UK.
That's a very good point. Well, listeners, if you can tell us, let us know if there's an American show that's been adapted to the UK. Good or bad, let us know, because I can't think of any.
Yeah. So imagine like UK The Simpsons, like, the Simpsons. Marjorie, Homer.
They'd be northern, wouldn't they? You're right, Homer.
Oh my God, was The Simpsons like the US take on Cory? It just escalated.
I don't know if you noticed, and listeners, you might have heard it when Mike was reading out the Wage book. As I would do, I snuck in a couple of pop culture references into that list.
Oh yes, I noticed. I've lost the flipping thing now. One of them was Elizabeth Swann was from Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
That is right.
Oh,
ho ho! One-eyed Willie is just a euphemism for a dick.
Yes, but also One-eyed Willie is the name of the pirate from the masterpiece The Goonies. So one of my favorite films of all time. How dare you son of a bitch! It is one of the greatest films ever made, and I will die on that hill. So Stede Bonnet, real person. Edward Teach is Blackbeard's real name. Edward Kenway is the protagonist for the video game Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
yeah. Well done.
Who's from Swansea in the game? He's a Swansea lad, which is great. Having a Welsh main character in a video game make my heart sing.
Yeah.
Annie Bonny was a real pirate. There aren't that many pop culture female pirate captains, which is interesting and a shame. Elizabeth Swann was the only one I could find. John Silver, obviously famously played by Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure Island, the superior adaptation.
The definitive version. Yep.
Johannes Alberic is the name of the pirate captain in Neil Gaiman's Stardust, who was Captain Shakespeare in the film.
I love that movie so much. Do you know what? I've read every single one of Neil Gaiman's books and comics. Except for Stardust, because I actually love the movie so much that I don't want
Stardust is so good. The book is magical.
I will get that book. I've actually got most of the books next to me, like literally in my eyeline here.
Mary Read was a real pirate. Malcolm Reynolds was the captain of the Serenity in the Firefly TV series, and I kind of took some liberties and went with Starship Captains as well as. And Abe Smollett is the captain of the good guys in Treasure Island, I believe.
Nice. To be fair, whenever they do space stuff, it's always the more nautical themes and terms that make it up there rather than airplane stuff.
Space is just water of the sky.
But yeah, that's it. It's the
sky water.
sea of the sky. Yeah.
That old sky sea.
Hello, NASA. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Jay, I've got some really bad news for you, mate.
Oh, what'd they say?
I will take you back to scripture. The water's above and the water's below.
No, they described it as the big black fuck all. Yeah. Do you know what? I think I know what you mean though, because most pop culture stuff, when you've got anything sort of shippy and floaty around in space, it tends to be naval themed. So it's all like frigate destroyers and battleships and things. But if we look at the trajectory of history, NASA came out of aviation. So that's come out of kind of like the aeronautical side of things. So I'd imagine they would probably kind of carry over from, I guess, aircraft conventions and things, like the terminology that goes up there. I think things like all of the nautical
to the starboard. Oh, get to the lifeboats.
Exactly. Go to the starboard. Which way? There is no up. Like, what's our current definition of up? Ship up or sun up? Are we defining up as a proximity from Sol? How are we orienting ourselves right now? Also, the ship's spinning so that we can have some sort of simulated gravity.
Yay.
And that's the bell for last orders. We better wrap things up before we get kicked out of the pub. So anybody coming in hot with anything this week?
Yeah, I got something, because I haven't done a pub one. I got something I want to say. And it's a bit more kind of peeking behind the curtain, if you will. But I wanted to give a marvellous shout out to the fine fellows here at the Infinite Escape Room who host the rooms, because I was thinking while I was listening back, because I tend to listen to the podcast on the commute, I was thinking back to the heyday when everyone would try and craft a little bit of a puzzle, and then it kind of developed into, do you know what, I'm just going to do a room. But you find gents just absolutely like crank out puzzles non-stop. And I know occasionally someone will pop in and be like, oh, I've kind of crafted a room. I couldn't do that because I find I have to like sit for a while and really think out a puzzle. And you guys go, I've got 2 days. Bam, I just shatter a puzzle. And it's ridiculous how you do it. So I wanted to show some appreciation to you, fine gentlemen.
Oh, you are too kind. I mean, it's an interesting choice of words, and probably appropriate that you use the word shat out a puzzle
is accurate.
Yeah, that's 100% how it happens, to be fair.
Yeah, well, it made me think of it when I think it was Mike's last one, and I think it might have been you, Jamie, left them in a hallway, and you were like, oh, here's two choices. And Mike went, I'm just going to do this because I really don't want to pick anything that Jamie's left me. I'm just going to do my own thing. And it's like, actually, yeah, you kind of craft your puzzle and you're like, I can't really shoehorn it into this bullshit.
But Danny, interestingly, you're channeling Neil Patrick Harris as well, because he was on Escape, this podcast, a while back, and somehow our podcast got mentioned. They were like, oh, your podcast's really good. Unlike Infinite Escape Room. And then he was like, oh yeah, they've got like kind of a different thing, because whereas you guys do like lots of like really careful prep and stuff, these guys very clearly just kind of, fill up on high carb food and then squeeze it out into your ears. So yeah, I think you and MPH are very much on the same page.
Well,
yeah.
I think credit where credit's due, because like I said, whenever I do it, and I do tend to run a room every now and again, but I just really struggle to get I need a theme, then I need a central idea, and then I'll build all this, and then like 2 weeks later I've got something, and you guys are like, oh, I did it in an afternoon because I had to. It's like, how did you do that? And it was good.
The trick is to steal from pop culture heavily. That's my trick.
That's the secret.
I was going to say, Jamie, otherwise I've got a letter from the 80s, and they say that they want to urge you owe them a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I think I'd get a letter just being like, oh, here's all of the celebrities that you've offended with the things that you've either said that they've done or have impersonated.
Oh, I did hear about that mounting lawsuit from Heston Blumenthal.
Heston fucking Blumenthal.
Yeah, that's coming your way.
I think the entirety of the Greek market trade is going to be after you as well.
Yeah, and Italy now. Sounds very similar to Leonardo da Vinci.
Never ever stop with your impressions. They're absolutely marvellous. I texted Mike, so I was in the office the other day and I was listening back, and then it was you guys and Mike going, hello, it's me, bloody heckin' flipping man. And I burst out belly laughing in the middle of this crowd. I was like, damn it, Mike, not again with your ridiculous impressions.
It's me, Leonardo da bloody Vinci. Hello. I sound very like Aristotle.
I believe that is now time for us to exit the pubiverse. So that's it for another week. We'll see you next time, where we're going to escape from Belgium?
Belgium, the whole of Belgium.
Yay.
Can't wait. We'll see you next time on the Infinite Escape Room. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Tatty Bumbles.